Well, hello my friends, and welcome back to Airgun Alley, where we shoot the wild, the weird, and the powerful. But today, we're not just reviewing the next hot PCP release, or we're not tearing through coconuts. Well, we'll also be doing some of that, but today we're going back in time to trace the insane history of airguns. You may think airguns are CO2 powered toys or budget training tools. But did you know that air rifles go back 500 years? They were used at the time by the Austrian army in combat, for example. Airguns helped Lewis and Clark avoid wars while crossing America. And now in the mid-2020s, we've got stuff like the AEA Challengers, the Zeuses, the Megalodons, the Dragon Claws, and of course, the Western Mordaxes and the Cuban GK1s, hitting more than 900 feet per second, penetrating nearly anything. Buckle up, my friends. This is the history of airguns and their crazy evolution. In Europe in the mid-1500s, early air rifles required hand pumps and leather seals to build pressure. They could fire small lead balls at decent velocity. Well, here is somewhat of a direct descendant of those first air rifles from 500 years ago. Although, of course, they looked nothing like this. This right here is the Dragon Claw. It is a single shooter that bores a similar caliber. In fact, we'll shoot a 50 caliber 8 gram steel ball with this, which is as close as we can get to the old days ammo they used to shoot. Now, the tank of this rifle holds 500 cc's of compressed air, and it's made by a South Korean brand called Seneca Air Venturi. Despite airguns having been around for a while, in 1780 along came Austrian master gunsmith Bartolomeo Girardoni and his 46 caliber air-powered repeater invention. With a 20-round tubular magazine, the new Girardoni tank filled up to 800 psi, something unheard of at the time. It was silent and, well, it was very effective for the time. Anyway, the Austrian army used Girardoni air rifles in real battles against Napoleon, for example. Soldiers didn't need gunpowder, and they could fire rapidly without producing any smoke, which apparently terrified the enemy. Now, this is a Crosman 1077 CO2 powered air rifle. It makes everything look easy. Unfortunately, it wasn't the same at the time, and the Girardoni came with a catch. It took 1,500 hand pumps to fill one single tank, which shot maximum up to 20 full-powered shots. Also, parts broke pretty easily compared to firearms, but that actually still happens today. Another great repeating air rifle is this new Pinty PCP P-Force that I reviewed actually just the other day. It's a .22 caliber, unthinkably small for the 17th century. Yet it's a great tool to get rid of those medieval dragons from 150 feet or 50 meters. And going back to the Girardoni, well, with its buttstock air reservoir and its easiness to operate, it quickly became the favorite and ultimate air rifle of the time. Of course, other models made their appearances in time, but without Girardoni's vast success. And of course, everyone knows about the Lewis and Clark expedition and how they carried a Girardoni air rifle across the Wild West in the early 1800s and said to have used it only to impress native tribes and as a means to avoid violence. They'd shoot trees, jugs, coconuts, okay, maybe not coconuts, just to demonstrate the magic thunder weapon that worked with no fire nor smoke. In fact, the Girardoni air rifle had the capacity to be a devastating opponent, yet it was never once used to harm another human being during the entire famed expedition. Well, after this period, the air rifle's fame and use quickly faded away. They did make some cool pistols using that Girardoni system, but that was pretty much it. But if we fast forward 80 years from the 1803 Lewis and Clark expedition, well, we can pay tribute to the golden Western era by shooting this Barra 1883 CO2 powered lever action pellet gun, one of the funnest plinking rifles ever made, together with Barra's 1858 BB pistol. By the 1900s, airguns became more of a common pastime tool or even a toy than a novelty weapon available only to few. Carnival shooters, basement plinkers, BB guns for kids became more and more commercial. Enters Daisy, a brand that made windmills at the time, with the Red Ryder, a line of BB air rifles based on the popular comic Western hero. The new gun was introduced in the spring of 1940. So here it is, the air gun that everybody thinks of when they're thinking of an air gun. By 1949, even after interrupting its production during World War II, the Red Ryder had become so popular that more than 1 million units were sold in a single year, a sales figure unheard of at the time. Along with Daisy, of course, came other mass producers like Crosman, who made an infinite numbers of epic air guns and rifles, like the beloved 357 and the Vigilante revolvers. Also, Crosman became famous for making tributes to real and historical firearms, like the full-auto M1 BB rifle. And after Springers, pumpers, CO2 powered, PCPs finally made a massive comeback. You know, the rifles that hold highly pressurized air and pre-charged pneumatic tanks. Suddenly we have regulated pressure air guns that shoot consistent FPS, new magazines, suppressors, slugs, real engineering features, and rapidly developing technology. Nowadays, air guns can go from budget, fun, plinking devices to high-end, high-tech shooting machines that can easily cost up to thousands of dollars. Well, this Snipe 2 PCP rifle in .30 caliber is one of them, made by Czech Republic brand Caliber gun that makes high quality and high-end precision air guns. This thing doesn't come cheap, but it sure excels in power and accuracy. Look at that, my friends. Look at that. Okay, I haven't shot this gun in a long time. Just pulled it out and just pulled it out and shot it basically. So look at this group right here. Okay, we got a flyer there, but look at the accuracy from 150 feet, 50 yards, 50 meters. And of course, this video is dedicated to the history of air guns, but obviously air guns are nothing without scopes.
And so I really want to give a huge shout out to DNT Scopes for sending me this Zulus. I just started using it. It is amazing. Look how compact it is. It is compact. It is packed with features. The one that I'm most interested in is the HD video filming. But again, it has a ton of features that I haven't even looked into yet. So again, yes, the air guns, but also yes, the scopes. And thank you again, DNT. The brand AEA changed everything. They brought air guns to a complete new level. Powers that were never seen before. Love them or hate them, AEA began making literal hand cannons. And now they just officially moved up to 7,000 PSI capacity air guns and compressors. These right here are still 4,500 PSI. Now check out this Challenger bullpup versus that concrete block right there. And this is just a BB gun if you compare it, for example, to the 58 caliber Megalodon. And what about the 72 caliber Zeus? And by the way, the Zeus, I put it against a firearm, against a shotgun in a recent video. Really cool results. Modern airguns aren't just for sports anymore. They're also increasingly being viewed as less lethal self-defense options. Here's the Pastel X68, one of the newest launchers, and I believe that the technical word for these is launchers, that splits coconuts open at the first shot from around 20 feet. And it even goes through heavy clothing. But the Pastel X is just the tip of the iceberg, literally. They sit on top of a mountain of brands like Byrna, Umarex, Grimberg, and many more that have invested greatly in this ever-growing market. Airguns also go from pepper powder, like this Mercury Rise torpedo revolver, to powder and power with the P2P or T4E HDX 68. Byrna, one of the less lethal brands most used by law enforcement agencies all around the world, just released its latest launcher called the CL, or Compact Launcher. An incredibly concealable pistol, but with substantially less power compared to its earlier LE or law enforcement model. And finally, the newest product on the market, making headlines all over Europe. The German-made CO2-powered 6-needler. This is a CO2-powered revolving needle-shooting pistol that pretty much goes through anything.
Many fear that legal battles to keep airguns free from heavy regulations are just around the corner, as manufacturers make them more and more powerful and automatic. Many states have already imposed restrictions. In Europe, a huge market for less lethal products, has strong limits on the foot-pound energy allowed, keeping airguns at a minimal strength.
But one thing is for sure, airguns are no longer niche. They are performance tools. They're getting discovered every day by more and more people all around the world. And they're being produced at levels and numbers never seen before. Guys, all the airguns that you've seen in this video have been thoroughly reviewed on this channel. So feel free to go have a scroll if you want to dive in more specifically. And a huge, huge thank you to the channel's members. Your support, guys, is incredibly appreciated. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you all for watching, guys. I hope you liked this video. It was a bit different from the rest that I make. Again, thank you for watching. Thank you for clicking that like button if you did indeed like this video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the next one.